If you liked the video and would like to contribute to the Nostalgia Road Trip in helping get episodes out sooner, as well as be a part of various exclusive rewards, perks, and even access to newer content, please don't hesitate to click on the link in the description and see how you can be part of something amazing. Thank you. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Breakfast Mix, where we highlight the highs and lows of a particular Saturday morning cartoon and maybe some weekday ones that I, as well as many of us, grew up with, and to show why these awesome Saturday morning cartoons made weekends and weekdays just the best, and why seeing them now instantly brings back glorious memories of those carefree childhood days. My fellow students, we only arrived here at this great school to what feels like a long time ago. Being selected from Earth to only have yourselves blasting into outer space to a world where your fellow students come in all shapes, sizes, and every color of the rainbow might have come as a shock at first, but you all have been able to adapt quite well in your stay here. Spending your academic tenure to soak in what this prestigious school has to offer, while spending your free time at the local pizza parlor located by the nearest satellite, has created new memories and even newer friends along the way. It feels like only yesterday that you were freshmen fighting with the locks on your lockers, trying to figure out where your next class was, and looking generally clueless to all your upperclassmen. But now, you are the upperclassmen, ready to use what you learned during your stay here to move forward in the world. Yet, at this seminal moment, you cannot help but to look back at the wonderful people and experiences you have encountered in our hallowed halls. So with that I say, congratulations, my fellow students. Wherever you go and whatever you do, may we always be friends when we meet again. This is your story.
Doyle was a high school star. Everybody thought he'd go real far, but he didn't get a thing from the classes he took. You know, he just wasn't interested in his books. Amy was the smartest girl at school. Not very popular, not very cool. 2 kids will be chosen from Earth to go to school at Galaxy High. Traveling millions of miles through space to go to school in a far-out place. Amy is the sweetheart. Doyle's got a lot to learn here at Galaxy High. Galaxy High. Galaxy High. Galaxy High.
Galaxy High, also known as Galaxy High School, is an American-Japanese science fiction animated series that premiered on September 13, 1986 on CBS and ran for 13 half-hour episodes until December 6 of that same year. The series was produced by Yukata Fujioka with anime studio Tokyo Movie Shinsa handling the animation for the show. The series was created by Chris Columbus, a screenwriter who at the time worked for Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment and was responsible for working on films like Gremlins, The Goonies, and Young Sherlock Holmes, before handling the task of bringing Galaxy High School, then known as High School 2525, which would have originally taken place in the future, into fruition. The series follows Amy Brightower and Doyle Cleverlow, 2 teenagers from Earth, who have been chosen to attend the intergalactic high school, Galaxy High School, as part of a grand experiment to bring various species together. Back on Earth, Doyle's the stereotypical jock who excels at every sport and is quite popular amongst his colleagues, resulting in an overabundance of ego and a cocky disposition. while on the other side of the spectrum, Amy is the unpopular shy nerd who exceeds in various academic expectations. A bookworm and a good student, who is largely ignored and considered an outsider to those who reward athleticism over brains, which, from what the opening theme states, seems to be an everyday experience for her. Two polar opposites in both the social and academic skills, Doyle and Amy are suddenly taken for a shock when they realize that their roles are quickly reversed upon arriving at Galaxy High, resulting in Amy becoming popular, making friends and being rewarded for her intelligence, while Doyle is pretty much looked on very spitefully by his classmates and given a hard time by everyone he meets, making it very difficult to adjust to his new life at Galaxy High. Constantly treated like an outcast, Doyle is subjected to various taunts by school bully Beef Bunk and his bully cronies, who constantly go out of their way to make Doyle's life at Galaxy High a living hell. The origins of Galaxy High School begin when Michael Chase Walker, a film and television executive producer and screenwriter, was appointed director of children's programs for the CBS television network. It was there that Michael Walker had an idea to create a Saturday morning lineup that would resemble an old-fashioned Saturday movie matinee covering various genres. The genres covered were horror, Teen Wolf, comedy, Pee-wee's Playhouse, and western, Wildfire. But there was one genre he needed help on: science fiction. To assist him with a program that would cover that genre, Walker turned to Tokyo Movie Shinza's creative director, Sid Iwanter, who at the time was developing a show concept that would have taken place in a school in the future called High School 2525. Walker, interested in the idea, bought the show. However, he changed the concept of the show taking place in the future to having it take place in space, ultimately changing the show's name to Galaxy High School and convincing then up-and-coming screenwriter Chris Columbus to develop the show's concepts further and giving the show legitimacy by having his name attached to the project. The show begins with two Earth teens in the 21st century, Doyle Cleverlobe and Amy Brightower, who were selected to be the first human attendees of the intergalactic Galaxy High on the asteroid Flutor as part of a grand experiment to bring various species together. On Earth, Doyle was a star athlete who was very popular among the boys for his sport performances and even more so popular among the girls for his looks and charm, while Amy, on the other hand, is a nerd, a bookworm and a good student who prefers studying over making social connections, making her largely ignored by all her peers. Two students that went to the same school but were literally two worlds apart in the social spectrum of their academic tenure, that it comes to us no surprise as to why both never hung out much together on Earth. Finally arriving at Galaxy High, with help from Ollie Oilslick the cabbie, Doyle instantly thinks he'll be just as popular there as he was on Earth and sees Amy as a nuisance, which he makes clear to her as they are about to enter the school for the very first time.
I want to tell you something.
Yes?
I don't want you following me around, expecting me to show you the ropes.
Following you around?
Yeah, I can't let the alien girls get the wrong idea. Once they see an Earth boy, especially one as cool as me, I'll be more popular than I was on Earth. And I don't want you messing it up for me.
Traveling through the school's internal transportation, a series of tubes called whooshers, Doyle and Amy are introduced to the school president and official greeter, the six-armed Milo the Venus, and are given a tour of their school to get themselves familiarized with their new surroundings. It is as the tour is in progress, both Amy and Doyle are assigned their lockers. These computerized lockers, X234V9 and Z4229Q respectively, are designed to help students through their day. While Amy's locker, X234V9, is a lot more friendly towards her, Doyle's locker, on the other hand, Z4229Q, is quite the opposite. Having been there since the school opened 30 years ago, his locker has a bit of a foul demeanor and would often take it out on Doyle, mostly because he was the last locker available that would take in an Earth person. Next up is the school's gymnasium, appropriately named Gym, The school's gymnasium is a sentient building with the ability to move around and change locations. It is when entering the school's gymnasium that Doyle discovers, after a failed attempt to charm the female student body, that brains are valued over athleticism. Milo further explains that the male population of Galaxy High outnumbers the female students by a 3-to-1 margin, and that Doyle is nothing special compared to Amy, who is instantly adored by all. It is there that Amy befriends various students of Galaxy High. Bowie Bubblehead, an extremely absent-minded individual with a knack for forgetting even the most simplest of notions.
Hi. We haven't met. I'm Bowie. Bubblehead.
Wendy Garbo, the local school flirt that has a black book about every boy at Galaxy High. Gilda Gossip, the school's gossip specialist who uses her extensions protruding from her head as a way of helping her spread gossip to whomever would listen. It is as the tour of the school concludes with a tour of their homeroom that Doyle and Amy begin to realize how much both are regarded in the eyes of their fellow colleagues and school faculty. The school principal, Ms. Biddy McBrain, with an assist from a sentient blackboard, reveal the plans they have in store for our newly enrolled exchange students. For her good grades, Amy is given a full Galaxy High scholarship and rewarded with a brand new space car to help her get to her classes. Doyle is not so lucky though, as he is forced to take a part-time job at Luigi's Lunar Pizza Parlor to pay for his tuition, and is given a scooter for his means of transportation. Wanting to return to Earth, Doyle is quickly reminded by Miss McBrain that he cannot, as Galaxy High School is his last chance to graduate. Still full of himself, Doyle considers himself to be very unappreciated and wanders the school's hallways. Confusing a small pink puppy as a sign of good luck, Doyle befriends the puppy but soon realizes that this is no mere small animal, for this creature transforms in front of his very eyes into a giant muscular dog monster and begins to chase him across the school. Finding himself trapped, Doyle is at the mercy of this muscle-bound pink monster, but this crisis is quickly averted thanks to Milo, who simply demands the creature to leave Doyle alone. Milo then explains that this is no mere space dog, but actually Sludge, the school's janitor, who also works as the school's garbage disposal unit. Later in the school's cafeteria, Amy is greeted by the Creep, a flying yellow ball of fluff who instantly takes a liking to her.
Cute. She said I'm cute, that was me.
Amy, you shouldn't have said that.
Why not?
You're gonna be my new best friend and I'm never gonna leave your side. Never, not once, not even, forget it, no, not.
We're attached.
That's the idea.
Oh, come on. Unlock this thing.
No, if I were to do that, we wouldn't be together for 24 hours a day.
But I don't want to be together 24 hours a day.
But I do, and only I know the combination.
Why do you think we call him the Creep?
Seeing the success that Amy has had making new friends, Doyle begins to do likewise, but as usual, has the complete opposite outcome. Going with good intentions, Doyle introduces himself to Beef Bonk, who we later find out is the school's resident bully and leader of the Bonk Bunch, a group of students who, along with Rotten Roland and Earl Eck, have a deep hatred for Earthlings, as proclaimed by the shirt Beef wears, and make quick work of Doyle by disposing of him into the French fryer and molecularly changing his body into a pile of French fries. After several failed attempts by the school's science teacher, Professor Eisenstein, Doyle is transformed back into his normal self, but is soon needed at Luigi's Lunar Pizza for his first day at work. As he and Milo are on their way to work, they are greeted by Amy, who lets them know that she and her new friends are going style shopping. Cue that traditional 80s montage, please. Back at Luigi's Lunar Pizza, Doyle is taken by surprise by how quickly Amy's attitude and appearance is different from the first time they met, and decides to confront her as to why she is suddenly ignoring him, with only her reply being that this is what Doyle wanted in the first place. This conversation is soon halted as Beef pushes Doyle aside so he can dance with Amy. Not taking kindly to Beef's rude nature as he and Amy were having a private conversation, Doyle stands up to Beef and is instantly in line for a severe beating. That is until Rotten Roland suggested they settle their score with a game of Sugobol, which is similar to the game of hockey but with a living puck, so that way he could humiliate Doyle in front of the whole school. As the Sugobol game commences, both Beef and Rotten Roland do their best to cheat their way into victory, but their efforts come up short as Amy encourages Doyle to use his football background to get the winning goal with 15 seconds to spare. With this victory, Doyle gains a measure of popularity amongst his peers at his new school. Although Amy says Doyle is once again the popular boy at school, a more mature Doyle admits that the popularity may be hard to maintain and that he needs to start proving himself. As this episode ends, we see that Doyle has had a change of heart and now sees Amy as an equal rather than just the run-of-the-mill geek or a burden. He and Amy would create quite a friendship during the show's 13-episode run and would occasionally drop many hints of a budding romance between the two. But sadly, it was never given time to grow due to the show not being renewed for a second season. Oh, did you know? There's a connection between Galaxy High and the animated series Partridge Family 2200 AD from 1974. Aside from the main characters, that being Keith and Laurie Partridge attending a futuristic space school that shares the same name, Galaxy High, one of Laurie's friends, Marion Moonglow, does seem to bear a striking resemblance to the Wendy Garbo character from this series, don't you think? Also, the composer for the show, as well as the show's opening theme, was none other than Don Felder, former member of the rock band, The Eagles. Although Galaxy High was animated, distributed, and owned by TMS Entertainment, the show's characters were designed by John Kricfalusi, who, interestingly enough, worked on the New Adventures of Mighty Mouse, which aired Saturday mornings the following year as the show's senior director. John Kay would eventually go on to create the legendary cartoon duo Ren and Stimpy. In 1996, Michael Chase Walker optioned the film rights with producer John H. Williams of Vanguard Films and re-teamed with Chris Columbus to develop the big screen version of Galaxy High School. Although various development deals were made with both DreamWorks and Paramount Pictures, the movie plans remain in development limbo to this day. An 85-page paperback book titled Galaxy High School was published in August of 1987 by Bantam Skylark Books and written by Anne Hodgman. This book featured adaptations of 6 episodes: Welcome to Galaxy High, Those Eyes, Those Lips, The Beef Who Would Be King, Dollars and Cents, Beach Blanket Blow-Up, and Founders Day. The book reveals in its prologue that Doyle and Amy, before departing to Galaxy High, attended Presley High School and that its sports team was called the Hound Dogs, and that Amy didn't know Doyle well before coming to Galaxy High. Although she found him cute at first, those feelings would subside the moment they actually met upon entering their new school. The paperback is out of print and is a highly sought collectible among fans of the show. In a 1986 interview with Starlog magazine, Chris Columbus presented the outline for an episode for the second season that would never see production. In the episode, which would have been titled The Day the School Stood Still, would feature a cafeteria food fight that eventually caused Galaxy High students to be split into 2 sides out of instigation, which would have escalated into a civil war. This would have caused the Board of Trustees of Galaxy High School to threaten to close the school down unless some way is found to restore order. Columbus also said he would have liked to explore the developing romance between Amy and Doyle some more. one of the factors that might have led to the show's cancellation or hopes of getting renewed for a second season could have probably come down to the time slot it was given. Galaxy High originally aired at 10 a.m. after Muppet Babies and before Teen Wolf in the 1986-87 season on CBS. The show was then moved mid-season to 11:30 after Teen Wolf and before CBS Story Break so that Pee-wee's Playhouse could move to the 10 a.m. time slot. Because of this positioning on a later time slot, Galaxy High was often preempted for CBS sports events and might have been one of the factors for it not being renewed. Finally, Galaxy High was actually nominated for an award. In 1987, the episode titled The Brain Blaster was nominated for Humanitas Award for its anti-drug message, but lost to the Smurfs episode The Lure of the Orb. The Humanitas Prize is an award for film and television writing intended to promote human dignity, meaning, and freedom. Despite being cancelled after one season, the series was still fondly remembered and is now considered a cult favorite. The show adapted common human conflicts that featured various aliens and science fiction elements that gave that series an extra dimension. In essence, it's still about students who differ from each other in terms of personality, but also capture the trials and errors that the characters go through is something that every student undergoes sometime in their lives. Trying to fit in an ecosystem separated by various groups like the geeks, the jocks, and the popular kids is something that various students encounter upon attending any high school with various degrees. Having difficulties adjusting to new experiences, people, and its social classes is something we can all agree have gone through growing up, which is why certain situations presented in Galaxy High resonate with so many of its fans. When you look at it, the show is even portrayed more like a sitcom, teen comedy, or romantic comedy because of the will they, won't they element between Doyle and Amy. The show also features small but very moving moments that carry a lot of heart. One example being the episode Those Eyes, Those Lips. At first, the episode just seems like your run-of-the-mill episode focusing on the characters going through some comedic hijinks in order to attain access, or in this case tickets, to help their friend Bowie Bubblehead meet her rock idol Mick Maggers, who is having a concert at the school. What would at first be something of a dismissive episode, we are then treated to a small moving segment that reveals as to why meeting Mick Maggers is so important to Bowie. That Mick's music speaks to her and cheers her whenever she's feeling down. Sure, the segment is very brief, but it reveals a lot about the character of Bowie Bubblehead that many people watching could actually identify with. In the end, Galaxy High School was a cartoon filled with quirky characters and bizarre takes of life. Although it isn't so much of a depiction of what life would be like living and working in another planet, but about the trials and tribulations of two human beings, in this case Doyle and Amy, and their attempts in fitting in with the so-called crowd and trying to get accustomed to their newfound life in outer space. Basically a show about alienation, of Earthlings in an intergalactic school, of teenagers among adults, or even girls among boys, and vice versa. This show has various things that many people could identify with, especially the fish out of water concept that both Doyle and Amy go through that in the end makes the show work so well. A show that is interesting and teaches the viewer a very valuable lesson on popularity, especially in the first episode, with it being that popularity is what you make of it, and that sometimes you can be popular in one place but completely be humbled in another. An interesting cartoon with an interesting concept. So take a chance on it, and maybe, just maybe, you might like it too. And if you're interested, the entire series is available to watch on the official TMS YouTube channel. Link will be available in the description. But until then, this is Edgar Velasco saying thank you so much, and remember, when it comes to cartoons we grew up with, that to truly appreciate something, you have to accept its strengths and its faults. No matter what they are, because when that happens, you can appreciate how amazing it was and how amazing it continues to be. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.